All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to overview the Wax protocol and see if we can expect the price of this to beat the alts in the long run. So here's my an explanation of this channel. What I do is I use diagrams as a methodology for rating whether a project is going to perform against the other alts. Green is positive values that I think will contribute to the price in compared to the competition. Yellow is neutral, and red I think is detracting. So what we can look at here is see, like, this is the average distribution curve that we'd see of the altcoins, and whereas greens will be those that are moving up and red is those that are moving down. And so, like, the competitive nature of these projects. I think everything's going to go up against the dollar. So when I say the price performance, I don't mean that it's going to go against the dollar. Dollar is trash, according to Ray Dalio. Okay, so this channel is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor, and this channel is for records of my own methodological evaluation. So if you take a look at Wax from the top down, you can see that there's a lot of green, yellow, and red. But mostly this project is green, and yes, you can even see that the price arrives at green. So that is my overview, a flyover of the project. And now let's jump into the summary. What problem does this project currently solve? It provides easy used access to digital goods marketplace. This marketplace includes digital trading cards, virtual and real life goods, ownership trading, and non-fungible virtual items trading. It provides liquidity pools for such items as it's imagine you have an expensive pair of tennis shoes. You want to, you could swap around ownership of those in some trusted trusted group holding those for you, and the ownership could be, swapped all over the place. It could do things like that. But I will say that this project has trading cards, and I didn't expect, personally I was like, oh, it doesn't seem too interesting, but I did take a deep dive and look into that, and every single time that they have done a trading card sale, it's sold out pretty much instantly. And so there's something there. I think that these guys might actually be establishing a niche, or the start of a niche. That looks like it could be something that could produce secure revenues for themselves, so that they can move forward. Okay, so what problem will this project solve in the future, and is it valuable? Well, the Wax Advisory Council, which actually was recently formed, it's made up of several conglomerate of companies, such as Microsoft, Google, Magic Leap, which is that augmented reality company, and these advisory councils are just for ideas. But I think that is a very cool thing that they did. So this is part of the team and part of the partnerships, and it should produce ideas, and it should mean that the ideas coming out of this council could potentially bring further value or future ideas to this project that might not be seen elsewhere. Smart non-fungible goods. I saw Quigley talking about this. Quigley is the one of the team members for this project, one of the main directors. And think about games with limited tradable items that unlock new abilities according to their interactions with the real world. So think about two kids coming together with trading cards on their phones, and they fight their Pokemon or whatever, and one of them loses, one of them wins. The one that wins gets stronger, the one that loses gets weaker. It got injured, need to take it to hospital. That thing loses some value. The one that wins, he goes up in value. You could see kids with expensive cards, if they know how to strategize the game right. It could be, I can definitely see a market for that. Okay, so VR, AR, obviously there's a future for that. And if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, they have these in-game items for that movie, like a time machine ball or whatever. And like there's only one of them or two of them or 10 of these special in-game items. With virtual or before blockchain, that kind of thing was not possible, but blockchain is going to make digital goods scarce. And that's the point of blockchain. It's one of those powerful abilities of it. So yeah, everything in that movie, if there was a VR world, which, there are VR games that are, VR chat's one of them, that are moving up, having, several hundreds of thousands of people that are using it, and it will move the millions. And who knows how, that market could get very large. Blockchain is going to be the back end of that. And, Wax being going after gaming, and they're in a good position. So The value also of the total tokenized consumer goods right now is 2 trillion or 1.8 trillion, but it's roughly 2 trillion, the latest numbers. And yeah, so $2 trillion is what they're going after. And I see that actually growing as more creative versions of games come out. Okay, so two mission critical components of any project that are relevant is the token used for services, and do they have a lot of room for growth? Because if it doesn't have those two things, if the token's not used for services and if it doesn't have a lot of room for growth, there's no point investing in it. If there's no market for growth. Okay, so we arrive at the conclusion that yes, I expect the price to move up. I expect that to be by one standard deviation. That's my ranking system now. One standard deviation at least. So not the strongest, but not the weakest. And I do expect it to be green. And the reasons for that is the team matches the need for the project. What the token price needs from the team to perform is what they got. And the low market cap, it's mostly ignored. This project it did go through a hype stage at one point, but we'll get to that now. We're going to run over this project. So yes, I expect green. I expect the future increase in demand for the token. I do. The current niche served, expected growth. I've been seeing instant sellouts of every trading cards that they've been doing. Looks to me like they might be on the right track to start a perfectly valid niche or even an income stream, or maybe even start a company on that I could see as being in the potential of tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's a perfect place for them to start. Some of these were Blockchain Heroes, Garbage Pail Kids, Tiger King Collectibles, and William Shatner Collection. All of them sold out pretty much instantly. So it is proving the validity, and it proves that they're onto something. So the future market excitement from the price momentum, I do expect that to happen. Let's go into some of the neutral things first to get them out of the way. Current awareness is low before the hype stage. Nope, because this project had a hype stage in 2018. They had $600,000 people viewing their items, their advertisements, Twitter followers. 32,000 Twitter followers is in. Reaching up there. This project was close to $1 billion evaluation when it was hyped in 2018. So it did have a lot of people that were aware of it back then. And a lot of those people are probably out. They probably sold it since then. So that's why these things are kind of neutral. Even though it had an awareness stage, I put yellow because a lot of the people have probably sold by now. But yes, its greatest YouTube views in 2018 was 600,000. That was quite a lot. All right. I'm trying to move a little faster because otherwise it'll take me too long. All right, so the money needed to move the price up decreases over time. Yes, I do expect that there will be less sell pressure, tokens on the sell side to decrease. All right, so there's been pretty relatively strong down pressure since it's had its token swap from out of the Ethereum chain into its own chain. One of that is it does have it has these accounts that if you lock them up, you get a 33% inflation. But the moment you take your funds out, you don't get that benefit anymore for having your tokens locked up. So it's an attempt to get people to think long term about the project and to keep their tokens locked up. That sponsorship program ends on July 1st, 2022. So in 11 months. And after that, it moves to 5% inflation, which is still a pretty relatively high amount of inflation. But it breaks down as this. 2% goes to rewards for its voter incentive program. 2% goes to paying the validators, and 1% goes to the worker proposal system, which it funds developers and funds initiatives on the project. This I think the reason it's performed pretty bad is because that inflationary force from that program, and that force is going to be diminishing. It's actually over the peak. Whenever you're looking at the negative effect of something, mathematically speaking, this is why I always say like the distribution curve. After 50% of something is reached, that's when the negative effects, the exponential negative effects are weaker. So we're more than halfway. We're starting to reach the halfway point of that. So I should see that it's likely to see strong upward price movements coming soon. It's been in a bear market since, it's gone up a little, but it's been since May 2018, it's been in a bear market. So that's actually a good thing. You want to buy when something's in a bear market. And it's been flatlining, so it's in a good position to start. And it is moving up slightly, but I'm just going to call it bear market because it's significantly down. It's 95% down from its all-time high. Token supply distribution, I think they sold everything. I couldn't find the exact details, but I did find, I looked through their block explorer, and they're greater than 60% distributed. So that's what I found there. Low market cap. It is a low market cap. That's a great thing. It's $50 million market cap going for a $1 trillion industry. Digital goods, marketplace, trading cards, instant sellouts every single time I've seen it. This is proving its validity. It's proving its current. They're on something. And, I'll even explain why their team is good. Like everything I've seen from their team, Quigley. Very smart guy. He knows business. He's managed 700. Let me get to him. I'll get to him. I'm going out of order. All right. So fees that burn tokens. Doesn't have that. Doesn't contribute. It's not part of the project. It's not the most difficult thing to acquire. It's not the easiest. I put medium so this yellow, not really contributing. It's not super scarce. It's on KuCoin, Bittrex, and BitThumb exchanges, so it's not like it's super hard to find. Super hard to acquire. You want to buy something that's hard to acquire. That's when you want to get into a project, when it is difficult to acquire and people aren't willing to put that effort in. That can potentially pay a lot of money. The more difficult it is. Tokens per person will drop over time. Expected that. The project is easy to use. That's one of their selling points. They have something called the Wax Quick Access. And for their target markets who are technically literate, all of this stuff is easy for them to access. And them having the Wax Quick Access. They're making blockchain easy, like to where you don't even have to use, you don't even think you're using blockchain. It's just regular signups and stuff. That's one of their main focus points, to on-ramp people. More people using the project. We do expect that to happen. Let me get to the governance. So there's no added staking weight for locking up your tokens. If you guys have followed my channel, you know that I really love that feature. No one ever really uses it except for Polkadot, the best chain I think out there. So I'm gonna put neutral for this. Those that think long term, it's not really contributing that component. It isn't contributing to long term thinking because it's not part of the project. Protection from custodial exchange voting. Yeah, they did this recently actually, and it's a pretty cool thing that they did. It's called the Inspector General Monitor, and what he does is he goes around looking at the BPs, makes sure they're doing good behavior, ensuring that the network's running securely and in the interest of the token holders. So that's cool that they have that feature. Now that guy so let me do a quick explanation of what DPoS is. DPoS is when you have validators, these kind of systems use a select number of validators that are voted in, and DPoS is super fast because it has a small 21, in this case 21 validators, and then it has a pool of like 37 standby validators. The ones that are voted in are the ones that process the network, and then they check these with like 1% of the block production to validate that these guys are in standby and ready to go. With this type of blockchain, there's security threat of collusion, where custodial exchanges will vote with users' funds, and for more of these BPs will be representing a party, and so that's a major threat to these type of systems. But if you put certain actions in place that mitigate that, you could see DPoS becoming like one of the best performing and best structured blockchain proof of consensus methods because of its ability to perform. Inspector General position protects from the BP collusion, and the worker back when I was talking about inflation, the worker payment fund is what paid for this. So people voted that in. That's awesome. So they protected their chain. All right, so yes, mostly coming from the founders. So is the governance aimed at capturing value for the token holders? I would say yes, it's mostly coming from the founders, but looks to be changing, like it will be able to be handed off to industry. One thing I should point before I keep going with governance is, so the way this token structure works with DPoS is that the token is a vote on the network, so it's used for services, right? It's used in the network for voting, and its entitlement to resources of the network. So what does that mean? the resources equal useful, right? The resources are the thing that's useful about the project, in addition to being able to vote. And so the more useful the project is, the more companies want to use it, the more demand there is for the token. So in order for this project to in order for DPoS type projects to succeed, those with resources being entitled to the token, you need to build you need successful business models on top of your chain in order for the value to go up. Because developer demand will be a result of successful businesses on top of it. And so this is the value proposition with this company. And you'll see why the team is perfectly aligned with the needs of this token for this project to perform. And so the success of the businesses on top of this project will cause that demand to happen. And in any other DPoS system, how successful businesses are on top of it is what will ultimately lead to demand for those resources. And so the services provided needs to be built out very well so that that project can see that performance. And the target market for this is huge. It's the tokenized market, as I mentioned earlier, $2 trillion market. All right, let's get back to the governance. So yes, governance is aimed at token holders, and right now the founders are mostly responsible for that. But it looks like these cards that they're messing with, it looks like those people might become one of the significant players for this project. Looks more like regular companies are going to take over using BP positions. I mean, there are a lot of VPs that are regular companies, and they do have a lot of non-disclosed things that they work on. So there's that as well. So it's difficult to get information on what those BPs are working on and what collaborations are doing. All right, so we see it likely that valuable people are going to be assigned to this in the future because the governance is good. And you can see valuable people affects almost everything. And it affects everything. Excuse me. All right, so let's get to the people and why I say the people involved are perfect for this project. So you have this guy who's an OG over here. He's Jonathan Yanis. He's he did the first ICO ever, which was Mastercoin. And it's a merger with an internet gaming entertainment, which was a big company back in the day with an evaluation of over $1 billion in revenue. This guy's got like mansions and stuff. I was like, wow, look at this guy's houses. So very successful guy. He knows how to do business venture. So does William Quigley. He's seen over $700 million in early VC funding. That's a key thought here is the VC component. He was a co-founder of Clearstone Venture Partners. So he's good at that VC game, and that's what he likes. And that's what this company needs. That's what this project needs for its DPoS style project to work. You need people who can spot money, who can spot VC, because once you get that valuable business model on top of a DPoS chain, that project performs. It will not perform until you see demand for its services from successful business model built on top of it. So yes, the odds are good because the team members are venture capitalist managers, and they've done good jobs. They made billions, so they've made billions. So, all right. So the current developer team's great. Strategic partnerships. You can see they're making those great partnerships. Vision, long-term strategy. I expect to be good. Are they the best option? Yes. One of the things they make is their competition is using the wrong platforms. The founders believe this, so do I. A lot of their competitions are using slower chains that are not really optimized for the performance that's necessary for this kind of thing. And with it, another narrative that's changing is there's not going to be one blockchain to rule them all. There's going to be blockchain interoperability. That's coming, especially with Polkadot. That project, I believe a lot of projects are going to run through Polkadot and get interoperability, and there's going to be a lot of cool features that are going to come from that. We're sitting on the edge, guys, of another blockchain revolution. I'm just letting you guys know. Everything's about to get bullish again. All right, so future marketing plans. Yes, they're working with new companies, wax all the time. Future awareness to increase. I expect that. Worker proposal system, developer compensation. You saw that worker proposal system from the inflation pays developers. That's a cool component. DPoS, BPs also are developers. Their mission statement, I didn't like it that much. It wasn't really a mission statement, but it was everywhere. It was simple, instant, secure, and global. That's the statements that I've seen everywhere. So I guess I hope if they're saying that internally, that's good. It's better than yellow, rating. But I couldn't find an actual mission statement. But that's what was everywhere. Developer motivation, yep, to come from that compensation and from the worker proposals and the BPs. BPs are usually developers as well in these DPoS projects. Those validator nodes are people that are developers that usually work on. They're like a conduit for the businesses entering into DPoS chains. High value upgrades, absolutely, because they have good team members. Value of services provided to increase. Yes, I expect the value of their services to increase because you have developer motivation and high value upgrades. So yes, that's what happens. And so that contributes to this. And we saw from this portal over here that strategic partnerships and best of the competition is going to lead to a lot of business coming onto this project. So I do expect large business models. This is one of the most important things for your token to increase in price, is to have large business models to be tied to the governance, because not only do DPoS need it for governance, but they also need it for getting resources for their customer base. Because what they do is these DPoS systems, they have these nodes, or the tokens are entitlement to the value on the network, and so their customers use their services. Their customers use their services, and the token is what allows for their customers to use the platform. And so the developers buy those tokens, and it's just a gateway for their customers. So yes, it is aligned with business buying the token. So once again, you can see why I said the team matches the need for the project. DPoS chains need to have VCs running them so that they can establish a company on top of it, so that the demand for the token resources will serve the markets that are served by the DPoS chain. And that is my overview of the WAX protocol.